Absolutely.
Awesome. So should we move on and talk a little bit talk offense, and we'll go through position groups and then talk overall, and then same with defense. And with the offense, we got to start talking with Barry Lunny, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been an up and down journey at times, but it felt like they took a big step forward last year. And I noticed they averaged 5.6 yards per play for the year, but in the last several games of the season, it was 6.7 yards per play. So Illinois felt like an offense that peaked, as the year went on. They kind of just got better and better and better. And go ahead.
I attribute that mostly to the offensive line play. Early in the season, I didn't think our offensive line was good. I thought they were below average to maybe even bad. Mm-hmm. By the end of the year, they were solid to good. So that's to me what turned that around.
Yeah, and that's a Bielema special, turn around an offensive line.
Yeah,
it is. Although I tell you, probably the biggest disappointment of his tenure so far at Illinois is his lack of ability to recruit and develop offensive linemen. He's had to go pluck them out of the portal,
right?
And then he just has these guys keep leaving, the guys that you get excited about when they're recruiting, and then it just doesn't work out. But I mean, they did pull it together last year, so I give a lot of credit there.
Right. And another thing, so Lunny has been really, really good and kind of getting better and better. I mean, let's start with, the whole O-line is back, the tight end's back, the quarterback is back. You've got experience back at running back, even though, you lost Josh McCray. But the only really question mark on offense feels like the 3 receiver spots. So let's start at QB and Luke Altmyer. And we got to tell you, Kurt, John and I have to eat crow because both of us were not believers after the 2023 season.
Okay.
We were not. In fact, we were, you should have been playing John Paddock all year believers.
Yeah. Well, you guys were, yes.
We had a reason to think
we had reason to believe that from what we saw.
It's funny you mentioned John Paddock.
I was at that game, Kurt. It was painful.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
I literally listened to an interview of John Paddock today on the
really?
on the Illini podcast. It was pretty cool.
A great all-time Illini.
Yeah. He absolutely is. I mean, you can't get more bang for your buck than that guy because he only played like 4 games. Small appearance in the Penn State game, but like 4 games in his career, and he had 2 of the greatest comeback victories in Illinois history.
Oh yeah, amazing. He was and
he had 500 yards against Indiana. I think it was the second most passing yards in Illinois history.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Well, a folk hero. John Paddock.
Absolutely.
But we were wrong about Altmyer. Your boy Bielema was correct because Luke Altmyer last season, 2,700 plus passing yards, 22 TDs, 6 picks, 61% completions, and a healthy 7.8 yards per attempt. I mean, talk about what it means to have Luke Altmyer back for another year when a lot of people were trying to pluck him from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just did surface recently that he had several overtures for more money and he turned it down. So one of the things that Brett really liked about Luke is that he had 3 years of eligibility left. He wanted a guy that was going to be there multiple years. So being in a system for the 3rd year with the same offensive coordinator, same head coach, that's another thing that I can't even wrap my head around as an Illinois fan. I don't think we've ever had that, or at least not since Kurt Kittner. Another reference to the Ron Turner era there. That's
right.
True. Ding, ding. But then back to Lunny, and you were asking about his development. I think so. He used to be at UTSA. Illinois played UTSA in Bielema's first year, 21.
Yep.
UTSA won. I wasn't even surprised. They had some really skilled wide receivers that they were killing us, and I think it really helps Barry Lunny to have a top-notch wide receiver or 2 out there. I think it just opens everything up for him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
which he's been able to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zachary Franklin and Pat Bryant. I mean, Pat Bryant especially. What a player he was. That was
amazing season. I mean, okay, this is going to be reference 3. You got to go back to Brandon Lloyd in the Ron Turner era to find a better Illinois wide receiver, I think.
Okay. Well, that's a callback for sure.
I love
Very cool. I love this. It's great. All right. Obviously you've got, arguably the best quarterback in the Big Ten
Yeah.
in Luke Altmyer. I think, I would say there's no one I'm putting above him. When I look at what we've got, this year, there are guys who have high ceilings and whatever, but Luke Altmyer, you're going to get the accuracy and the decision making, and he's so much quicker than you think he is, and it drives you crazy because he's just like, what do you call him on your podcast? Lukey Legs or something?
When he's running, we call him Lukey Legs. When he's throwing, we call him Nuke Altmyer.
Yep. Love that.
Love that. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
great.
he really does. His escapability, people forget until he does. He gets out of the pocket and he has some space. How fast he really can be. So
he's sneaky.
And he
Sneaky
really improved his decision making last year. He was a little turnover prone the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those numbers were skewed because he had, 4 or 5 interceptions in one game, but still, he just brought the interception total down. He was a big fumbler the previous year too. He did better at that last year. So that was probably his biggest progression for me.
Is just taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
That's what you want from your quarterback, right? Any coach, that's what you want. You want him to protect the quarterback. At Minnesota, PJ likes to say the ball is the program.
Yes, indeed. I have been in the practice facility and seen that on the wall.
Oh yeah. I've heard him scream it when people didn't treat the ball like the program. But,
by the way, you guys ever go for practices?
I do.
They are a blast.
They're so
so
great.
Much fun.
They're so high energy. Oh, they're so much fun.
My gosh.
And the music is pumping and everyone's sprinting in between and cheering and
they put on a show at practice. It's amazing. I highly recommend anyone in the Twin Cities area check it out.
No, it is. We don't want to make it about the Gophers, but it's it's crazy. And so this will speak to what Bielema's doing. The way we're recruiting now is so much better than what Glenn Mason or Jerry Kill ever could have done. And it feels like the way Bielema's recruiting now, especially in state and in that radius around Champaign, is really impressive.
One of my frustrations until very recently has been the recruiting. I've been saying for years, Illinois recruiting is broken. I thought if the right person came in and did the right things, they could fix it. It wasn't happening in his first few years. I mean, he has been underwhelming as a recruiter. If you look at just rankings, that's changing. The rankings are starting to go up. We're starting to land more 4-star guys, and more importantly, high 3-star guys. That's how you're going to feast at Illinois. If you can get those guys, especially if they're in state, keep them home. He's doing a good job there too. So maybe it's finally turning around, and maybe he is fixing it. It
reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of when D'Antonio took over for John L. Smith. And it was just, at first he got the scrappy underdog types and he won some games. And then at a certain point, the recruiting got better. Actually, at a certain point, the recruiting got so good that it kind of backfired.
Too good.
But that's a good problem to have.
Yes.
From where he got. I feel like Bielema must have done that too.
The 2016 season recruiting class, I believe, is the one that just completely imploded.
Well, it's just having that continuity is a major, major deal at any program, especially a developmental program like Illinois or like Minnesota, or that's such a important aspect. And I think Bielema definitely, he's very aware of that. And I think having his staff and keeping that together is going to be key to his success, continuing to move forward. So PJ's from there. I gotta cut in, John, and just say, we used to consider Illinois in-state recruiting almost, and it hurts me that Bielema's put up the border so much, because we were those first few years of PJ, we were pulling some guys from Illinois.
Well, Lovey was a recruiting buffoon, so it's been great to move on from that. Here's a little fun fact about Big Kurt and PJ Fleck. Where I was born, had we not moved, I would have gone to the same high school as PJ. Now, I'm a little bit older than him, so our paths wouldn't have crossed. I'd have been out of school by the time he got in. But Caneland High School. That would have been my high school.
Very cool. It's wild how small a world it is.
Yep.
I played football with a guy who is now the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it was frustrating because he was a year in front of me and he was better than I was.
Yeah.
It's Bobby Babich.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, to circle back, let's move on. I don't want to get caught up too. Let's talk about the running back situation. I'm really interested. You lost McCray to transfer, which is frustrating. Yeah. But this is a deep and talented room. Caden Fagan, Aiden Laffery, and now Khalil Valentine. How do you see this room taking shape? is Fagan finally healthy? Because man, when he was healthy, that guy, when he gets ahead of steam, he's terrifying.
Yep.
Well, the Minnesota game a couple years ago was kind of his coming out party when they hit him on that swing pass, and Tyler Nubin, who is a great safety, totally underestimated his speed, and he blew right by Nubin. He took the wrong angle, and he was gone. And that was when everyone started saying, oh, maybe we got something here. I want to start with Josh McCray. Losing Josh McCray really stinks for me personally. He had become my favorite Illini. He was our best all-around back. If you look, across the whole season, he's not the most explosive runner, but he did have a little more pop than in the past. He's a great pass receiver. He is a great pass blocker, and he's just consistent. And you can always count on him to get short yardage. And I have never seen anybody smarter than him picking a running lane. He was a wizard at it. It was like a sixth sense. So sorry to see him go. I think the guy I'm counting on most is Aiden Lawfrey. Now, Aiden Lawfrey last year didn't have the greatest year. He had over 500 yards, almost 600, I believe. What none of us knew until the very end of the year is he was injured the whole year. We had heard all about how fast he was and how he was the best looking running back. And we're like, I don't know. I don't believe you. And then he came out and just looked, okay. He was injured. He was finally healthy in the Northwestern game. And look what he did in that Northwestern game. He broke it off. So I feel like he's our best bet as long as he stays healthy. Caden Fagan, to me, is like another Josh McCray, because I had given up on Josh. I had said he is never going to be healthy enough to give us any meaningful snaps. Yeah. I didn't even consider him part of the running back room. That's why he won me over. I feel like that's Caden Fagan. Can he stay healthy? I'm not convinced he can. And then Khalil, can he block anybody? Anybody. I don't care who it is, even if it's an infant in the stand. Can you block someone, please?
Fair. He's a young guy, though, so that could come.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, that's good to hear. Okay, let's talk about the tight end and the O-line. And I kind of grouped them together because you got them all coming back. Yeah. And they're all seniors except for about one lineman. And yeah, Tanner Arkin, has seen a lot, and so has the rest of this line. And I mean, what are your expectations for such a veteran battle-tested unit?
Yeah, so like I said previously in this podcast, I didn't think they were a very good line at the start of the year. But by the end of the year, and they did switch up the lineup a little bit. They moved Zy Chrysler out. They put Brandon Henderson in at the right guard position. Brandon looks more like a tackle, but he actually plugged in and played very well. By the end of the year, this unit was really gelling, especially in that bowl game. Tanner Arkin had a complete breakout year out of nowhere. That was fantastic. What probably non-Illini fans don't know is he was not slated to be our starting tight end. That was Cole Rusk. Cole Rusk was a transfer from Murray State, blew out his knee, didn't play a snap last year. He's healthy again. So I feel like it's possible we're going to have two pretty good tight ends as well.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Now, if there's any concern, I'm still not convinced we have good depth on the offensive line.
Okay.
So yeah, I was going to ask. That was going to be my next question. Is what do you think about the 6, 7, 8 guys? Like, is there anyone?
They brought in a few guys to kind of patch things up. So I think they could deal with an injury. 2 is now we're starting to get a little iffy. But yeah, if they stay healthy, and that's something they did last year, not just the offensive line, the whole team stayed healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
If they can stay healthy, I think the offense is gonna be humming pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I absolutely think so. And yeah, let's talk. We want to talk about the offense as a whole, but before we do that, let's talk about now wide receiver. This is the only place where I have any question marks, basically, on the entire. This and defensive line are my only question marks, really, for me. This whole Illini team.
I'm gonna tell you what. Then that means you follow the Illini pretty closely, because those are my 2 question marks too.
Yeah, right on. That's good. It's good. Hey, John, we get something right once in a while. Yeah. Tell all the Nebraska fans.
They don't believe us. Yeah, we don't know. We never know what we're talking about when it comes to Nebraska.
Yeah. So wide receiver, it's not that I'm concerned about them, because I think there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of guys with potential. But losing Bryant and Franklin, that's 109 catches from last year. The rest of the team combined didn't have 109 catches. With that said, the numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 wide receivers are returning, and they've all showed flashes. So we do need a couple of them to step up. And then we also brought in a couple transfers, Hudson Clement from West Virginia, Justin Bowick from Ball State. So I think there's enough possibilities that they'll get some production, but I'm not expecting another Pat Bryant.
Okay. So yeah, that was my question too. So do you see Hudson Clement? He had 741 yards, 51 catches, 5 TDs last year for West Virginia. He's a proven guy. You got Hank Beatty, who had about a little under 300 yards receiving. I guess I'm curious, do you see, it sounds like you see more of a committee this year as opposed to Pat Bryant being the star. How do you see the room shaking out? Whom do you expect to see, contributions from?
So I think probably the primary receiver is going to be either Colin Dixon or Malik Elzy. It depends.
Okay.
It depends if Malik, if where his confidence is at. That's the only problem he has. He's got plenty of talent. He's big. He's strong. He lost his confidence somewhere along the way, got the dropsies, and he just needs to get over that. I think if he does, he could be the number one receiver on the team. Hank Beatty will get a lot of catches. Another guy, it's not a great blocker. It keeps him off the field quite a bit. So hopefully Hudson Clement is a better blocker and maybe he might even get more snaps than Hank Beatty. But Hank Beatty is great in the return game. Love that guy.
Yeah, no, he's when we get to the specialist part, and there's a section to talk about specialists, Kurt, because I knew you would like that.
Okay, good.
Because that's important to you.
A name that they've been throwing out after spring ball is a freshman named Braden Trimble. So look for him to maybe get some meaningful snaps as well.
So even
Trimble,
if
you say. Now, what kind of, is he an outside guy or a slot guy, or what do you think?
Gosh, that's a good question. I would say he's an outside guy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So even if there isn't like a Pat Bryant that rises to the top, you've got a pretty solid receiving core. I mean, you got to think that Altmyer is still going to be able to do a lot with that.
I think so. I mean, it's definitely a question mark. I just think, like I said, there's enough depth there. It's just not high quality. So I think it'll be like high floor, low ceiling type of wide receiver room.
Sure. Okay. So do you think the run pass balance from last year changes at all? Do you think you run the ball a little more or early in the year with the less proven wide receivers than offensive line running backs?
So that's what I'm hoping. Now, one of the things that got me a little frustrated last year is it was clear they wanted to establish a running game. That's what they wanted to be, as a running team. And it wasn't working. And I was like, will you please just give up on it and throw the damn ball? And then they did. And then that opened up the running game. So we ended up throwing to open up the run. But I'm hoping with the veteran offensive line, we can go the other way and actually establish the run first to set up the pass.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that should be good. And with such a veteran unit, that just makes sense that you would ride them a little bit, especially early in the year when guys are getting a little acclimated. So I guess as a whole, do you see this offense? How would you compare it to last year's offense? Do you think it has a chance to be just as dynamic?
I mean, I think they'll probably, in terms of total yardage, I think they'll equal last year. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, again, with Luke being a third year in the same system, he's gonna pull those wide receivers along, even if there is no Pat Bryant in there. And then I'll mention Cole Rusk again because they were so excited about that guy. So that's another outlet for him. Yeah. Awesome. So I do feel like total production will probably be similar to last year, maybe more on the running side than passing, though.
Yeah. We feel pretty similar, I think. Yeah.